I need to just like cry and rage. You know what I mean? Magnolia Parks level messy with a dark romance. So not only disappearing, but like
tragic deaths.
Hello, my gorgeous angel bestie queens. I hope that you're having the most wonderful day of your entire stinking life. Today we're gonna be talking about all the books that I want to read in April. The birdies are very chirpy today, so hopefully it doesn't bother you and you find it kind of peaceful and relaxing like I do, but you might hear some little birdaroos in the background. I'm gonna preface this April TBR by saying I have been in the most mood reading era of my entire life. Just kind of like a weird reading mood. So I have been going wherever the wind takes me and picking up any book on a whim that sounds like it's going to be a really fun time. So if I don't end up getting to any of these books in April,
we're not gonna talk about it, okay?
so I've kind of chunked them out in a way that works for me, and I'll explain as we go. So the first like section of books I'm gonna talk about are series that I'm continuing in April that I'm really excited for. The first one that I'll talk about is SJM Throne of Glass. I'm currently reading The Assassin's Blade, listening to it on audiobook, so I don't have a physical copy, but I will pop up the picture. This has been so fun, and when I'm filming this, it is the 29th of March, so I'm probably not going to finish The Assassin's Blade until we're in April. It's kind of like a novella, and it basically just gives us additional backstory into Selena, who we met in Throne of Glass, and we kind of meet her after all of the stuff that's happened in Assassin's Blade. And so yeah, it's just really fun, and I'm excited because I really like Selena as a main character. I think she's really fun. She's so snarky. She's such a baddie queen. She is just the ultimate assassin girly. After I finish Assassin's Blade, I want to finally get to Crown of Midnight. I've kind of been reading Throne of Glass a bit more slowly because I've been waiting for the audiobooks to become available on Libby. I have holds for all of them, and then I need to actually purchase the rest of the Throne of Glass books because I do hope to read and finish this series this year in time for Crescent City 3, which comes out January of 2024. How excited are we? I am screaming every single day that I think about it. So Crown of Midnight is also on my TBR for April. And then the other series that I'm hoping to continue with for April is the Witcher series. So I am on Time of Contempt, which is the second book in the main book series, which is so crazy because I've literally read like 4 books of this series so far, and technically I'm like only on book 2. But my audiobook hold for Time of Contempt became available on Libby as well. The audiobooks for this series are so incredible. Like the voice acting and the character voices that this one man does is just impeccable. But these books are really dense, so it helps me to have the audiobook going and I read along with the audiobooks because this is some small text and there's a lot that goes on and there's a lot of different people talking, and with the written text, some people's accents are really difficult to, for me, like process and understand when I'm just reading the text on its own. So listening and reading along with the audiobooks have really helped me get through this series, and I'm loving it. Like, I'm living for the series. Okay, the next book is really just kind of random, but I'm throwing it in here because I don't know that I'm gonna be able to finish it in March. But that is My Dark Romeo. I'll pop up a picture. It's a book that I've been seeing everywhere on Bookstagram and also on Book Talk. I'm just really curious. It's probably not gonna be a literary experience by any means, but the vibes that it's giving is like billionaire, super messy, toxic romance. It's kind of giving like Magnolia Parks level messy with a dark romance. There will probably be others because I've been balancing books that take a little bit more brain power with just like absolute mindless romance books, and that has really been working for me lately. Okay, next we have some books that I really want to get to for a Sad Girl Lit vlog. It's been such a long time since I've filmed a Sad Girl Lit vlog, and I really just want to get back into my Greek retellings, literary fiction bag. It's been a while and I'm kind of missing it. The first book is a book that I feel like I've had on my TBR for a really long time, but that is Sirens and Muses by Antonia Angress. This is like a light academia book. It follows this group of students who are in their last year of art school in New York. They're very like competitive, cutthroat, kind of pretentious people, and we follow them on their transition from art school to going into the real world, if you will, and actually like working in New York and being kind of like young art professionals. Okay, it sounds so pretentious. I feel like it's going to be a character study type of contemporary romance where we just get to see from a lot of different perspectives that really differ from like my own life perspective. It's also been a while since I've read any Greek retellings and I've really been missing it as well. So the book that I have that's on my shelf is Daughters of Sparta by Claire Haywood. Claire Haywood writes usually from more of like a feminist lens of Greek retellings, and this story follows the princesses of Sparta, so Helen and Clytemnestra, and they both get married off to different prominent male figures in the Greek mythology world. It just tells their different experiences of their lives. But also Claire Haywood has a much more like approachable writing style. It's not stuffy by any means. Like some Greek retellings you go into and they're a bit more of that really stuffy and like difficult writing style to be able to get through and get invested in the story. Claire Haywood, in my opinion, is much more like approachable with these types of books. So this is one I've really been looking forward to. And then the last book that I have that fits under this kind of category of sad girl lit books that I want to get to is an arc for this book called Lilith, and I'll pop up a cover. Lilith is a book that just gives off dark feminine energy. Like it's giving kind of the same energy as like Medusa retellings, which that is my vibe.
Hi, my name's Tori. I'm obsessed with Medusa retelling specifically.
Lilith is kind of showing us a different side to Lilith's story. She is a misunderstood figure, misunderstood woman figure in history, and it's kind of showing us this other side to her. Nikki Marmory is being compared to Madeline Miller and Claire North with Lilith's story. I mean, how stunning is that? Lilith was the first woman who was expelled from paradise for disobedience. It's a retelling of a Hebrew myth that justified and explained woman's subjection to man. Lilith will have her revenge however long it takes. So in the Garden of Eden at the beginning of time, an outrageous lie is born that women are inferior. Lilith was actually the first to kind of be with Adam. So Lilith and Adam are equal and happy in the Garden of Eden until Adam decides Lilith should submit to his will and lie beneath him.
Bitch, you better be joking.
She refuses and is banished forever from paradise. Demonized and sidelined, Lilith watches in fury as God creates Eve, the woman who accepts her submission. But Lilith has a secret. She has already tasted the fruit of the tree of knowledge. Endowed with wisdom, she knows why Asherah, God's wife and equal, the queen of heaven, is missing. Lilith has a plan. She will rescue Eve to find Asherah, restore balance to the world, and regain her rightful place in paradise. The way that this book seems like it is just absolutely calling to my heart and to my soul, like I need to read this book. It sounds so incredible. It's an arc that I got approved for, and this book comes out in October. I just have a feeling that I'm going to be screaming. Like, I just hope that this book has such an emotional impact on me. I need to just like cry and rage, you know what I mean? I don't know what it is, but I feel like I have been pulled to read books that are so the opposite of spring vibes. Like, all I want is like spooky spring. All I want is dark, moody, brooding type books and like that type of aesthetic. So these books kind of fit that vibe. The first one that I've been meaning to read for a really long time is House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin Craig. This has been on my shelves for longer than I wish to tell you. I read Small Favors by Erin Craig, which was kind of like a cottagecore YA horror book last year. I think I gave it like 3 stars, so it kind of fell in the average type pool, but it was fun. I did like her writing style, and I'm hoping to explore a little bit more of this author's writing. Erin Craig is also coming out with House of Roots and Ruin in July. I think that's the second book in this series. Our main character is Anna Lee. She lives a sheltered life at Highmore with her sisters, but things continue to go wrong. Her sisters keep like disappearing or something like that. Not disappearing. Each of their lives have been cut short, and each death has been more tragic than the last. So not only disappearing, but like
tragic deaths.
Annalee is becoming disturbed by a series of ghostly visions. It's increasingly suspicious that her sister's deaths were not accidents and something is actually going on. Annalee, I'm assuming, has to figure out what that is and hopefully stop it so that not all of her 12 sisters die. It sounds really fun. It sounds like a cute like YA mystery. I just said cute and it's talking about like tragic deaths, so don't mind me. The next book I'm literally so excited about, and thank you so much again, Jan, for sending this to me. This was gifted by the beautiful Jan Agaton. If you don't follow her, please go follow, subscribe. She's absolutely amazing. I will leave her in the description down below. So she got me Vespertine by Margaret Rogerson. I fangirl over Margaret Rogerson probably at least once a week. Like, I just love her so much. This is the only book that she has published that I haven't read yet. So after I read Vespertine, I will be completely caught up with her backlist. This is about like death magic, which I think is really intriguing. So our main character is Artemisia. She's training to be a Grey Sister, which is a nun who cleanses the bodies of the deceased so that their souls can pass on. Otherwise, they will rise as spirits with a ravenous hunger for the living. She would rather deal with the dead than the living, who trade whispers about her scarred hands and troubled past. I'm not gonna read anything else because, like, I think you know the vibes that I'm going for, and this fits the bill. I literally can not wait. And then the last book on this list that I'm going to talk about for my April TBR is The Daughter of Dr. Moreau by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I read Mexican Gothic like 2 years ago, and I've been meaning to pick up another book by Silvia Moreno Garcia for a really long time. This is another book where I've had the audiobook on hold from Libby and I keep like pushing it off and pushing it off. Well, where I want like the dark and spooky vibes, I thought that this would be a perfect book to pick up. So this is a retelling or kind of a spin-off of The Island of Dr. Moreau, which I did read last year to kind of get familiar with the source material for this book. It's also a very short story. Oh my gosh, I just found a bookmark that has been missing for such a long time in this book. Oh my gosh, how stunning. Island of Dr. Moreau, this is how short it is. So it's a really short story. It's written by H.G. Wells. He is known as the father of science fiction. It's kind of like a sci-fi horror book because it's very creepy-deeps. So this is the original source material. Silvia Moreno Garcia is giving her own spin on it. I'm really excited because I loved her writing style in Mexican Gothic. This book also takes place in Mexico, and we are following Carlota Moreau. She is a young woman growing up on a remote, luxuriant estate, safe from the conflict and strife of the Yucatan Peninsula, the only daughter of a researcher who is either a genius or a madman. Her father is kind of experimenting with human-animal creatures that are called hybrids. That just sounds so terrifying, and I'm really excited to return to Silvia Moreno Garcia's genius brain in how she crafts stories. I'm also a little bit apprehensive because I know that this book didn't get like raving reviews, whereas I think a lot of us really enjoyed Mexican Gothic. I'm hoping that she carries some Gothic elements of her writing into this book because that's what I loved the most about her writing. This is only like 300 pages, so it should be a quick, stunning, spooky spring time. And that is it, my friends. That is my April TBR. I know it's a bit all over the place. I know it's probably unlike a lot of other spring TBRs. We are doing spooky spring here on my channel apparently, and also some dark feminine books. Everything that just has like a dark atmosphere and very moody themes to it. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. Make sure that you friend me on Goodreads and follow me on Instagram. I'm super active on both of those and they are linked in my description box below, and I will see you in my next video, friends. Bye!